just grab this for you guys. Okay, so this is the quick and dirty version of for loops. And they're not very hard, so don't freak out. We're okay. It's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to use. So what I want to do is, this is just going to be a simple program. We're just going to ask the user how high they want us to count. That's it, right? And then we're going to use a for loop to repeat the output, so that way it prints on the screen whatever that number is. But since we're going to ask the user how high they want us to count, what do we need? Scanner, right? We need a scanner because we need to ask the user. So let's import our scanner really quick. Okay, so we got our scanner. And then down here, let's do, I'm going to have int number1. And then we're going to initialize it because we already know that this is going to be an issue, so we'll just initialize it right now. Okay. And then we need to declare our scanner, right? Don't we need to initialize our scanner? So we're going to go scanner reader equals new scanner. And since our arguments are going to be from the system input, we're going to go system.in. Okay, that makes sense. So we're still good. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do, and we're just setting up the ability to use our for loop right now, so not a huge thing. But let's ask the user for a number. System.out.println, and we will just go simple, as I literally about typed simple, because I said it. A number to count to. Okay, please enter a number to count to. Okay, then Mac, what do we got to do? After we ask him for a number, what's our next step? Yeah, right, we need to read it in. Okay, so number1 equals reader dot next what? Int, yep. Okay, so number1 equals reader dot next int. So we're good there. Okay, and then we're out. Okay, so that's all the setup we need to do. Now we're just simply going to set up our for loop. Okay, again, don't get overwhelmed with the fact that this looks different than your while loops, and I know you guys are used to them, but there's some good things that for loops do that are different than what while loops do. And I'll just kind of explain that as we're going. So our for loop is just going to be for, like that. And then our condition is actually not a single part condition like a while loop does. We're actually going to type in 3 different components, right? So we're going to go, the first thing we're going to do is what does the for loop pivot around? And we're going to use a variable called I. So I'm going to go int I. And we're going to initialize that as 0. Okay, so we're setting up a new variable, I, and we're just going to use that essentially as a counter. Okay, so that's great. Now, there's 3 components to every for loop, and they all go inside of the parentheses, but they're going to be separated by semicolons. So make sure you put a semicolon right there. Okay, so the first step is the initialization. Okay, the second step is our actual condition. Okay, and we're going to go for I. So this would be like the part that you put in the parentheses of your while loop, right? So like when we did like x is less than 5, right, in our while loop, this is where that particular x is less than 5 goes, okay? So we're going to go while I is less than number 1, right? So that's our condition. So this loop is going to run while I is less than number 1. Okay, that's it. Now, the third component is So if your conditional variable, do you remember in your while loops, right? If we say while x is less than 5, but we never change x inside of the while loop, what happens to our loop? It runs forever. It becomes an infinite unbreakable loop, right? This is where for loops are awesome, because for loops don't let you forget to do that stuff. Okay? So we're going to go I++. So what's going to happen is every time the for loop completes, it's going to add 1 to the I variable. Okay? So this is where for loops, remember when I said for loops protect you from yourself? That's what this is because all 3 things that you need to make this for loop run are included in the opening statement of it. And if you don't set these up, it's not going to let the for loop run. So this is why they're good in the sense of they won't let you screw up. They force you to do what you're supposed to do. Okay? All right. We're going to do our curly bracket like that. And then look at that proper indentation. Aren't you guys proud of me? Paige is proud. Right, Paige? Aren't you proud of my formatting? It's so good. Okay. For my for loop, let's just print out the number so we can let it count. So system.println, and then we're just going to type in number 1 right there, and then we have that, and then we have that. Okay, yay. That's it, guys. So that's the for loop, and how many times is our for loop going to run? Wow.
Teachers, will you please release all of the students who were NAEP testing this morning in C-138 to return to that classroom to start the test?
Looks like they got you fixed, Nate. Good luck. Make your classmates proud. Earn your your certificate of community service. Did you guys know that? Nate's going to get a certificate of community service for taking that test. Strong work, Nate. Go serve your community, man. Okay. So if I run this, how many times is the loop going to run? Kaylee, what do you think? How many times does this loop run? Her vote's 5? So whatever they type in, right? Yeah. Whatever the user types in. Well, kind of. Right? So let's run this. And let's see what happens. So if I want to count to 87, yes, I use that number a lot. Sorry. Whoa. What happened? Why did it say 87, 87, 87? Oh, because I printed number 1. Should I have done that? If my goal was to get it to count, should that have been what I did? No, what should I use? I. Okay, so let's change that. Good catch. So if I print that, and then I run it, now, Heather, how is it going to act differently? What's your prediction? What's going to happen when I run it? It's going to count to 1 less? Okay, so let's do 87 again. So Heather predicts it's going to count to 86. What do you guys think? Is that... Mac thinks it's going to count 1 more? Yeah, right? So if our pivot starts at 0... Okay, so we did 87. It started at 0 like Indy said. So did it count 87 positions? Yeah. It counted 87 positions because it ended at 86, but it started at 0. So if we were to correct this, what could we do? We could do I+1 right here. We could initialize I as 1. That's a good one. Or we could print I+1 right here. Or What's that going to do? So now it's going to allow the number, before the for loop exit, it's going to allow the number to be equal, right? So let's try this again. So now it counts to 87. I think the goal is you would need to look at what your goal of this particular exercise would be. So if Indy is trying to write a program that counts like a person from 1 to 87, then the I plus 1 might be a good idea, right? Or initializing I as 1 here might be a good idea, right? Because then it counts like a person. Quite frankly, I don't want computers to count like people. I like that they start with 0. So I went with the less than or equal to option because I want it to include a 0, right? But that's your perspective, right? That's how you want to do it. This doesn't matter. You're the programmer. You get to decide what the expected outcome is. Okay? So Drake gets to choose what he wants his program to do, and that's his call, right? It's his goal. Okay. A couple things I want to caution you guys on. Okay? So I is an integer, correct? So I've used I here. Is that great? Is that okay? Clearly it's fine. However, what happens if I come outside of the for loop and try to use I? Can I go number 1 equals I? Like that? Okay, that's an error. Okay, here's the deal. Is that when you declare a variable inside of a for loop like this, that variable becomes only usable by the for loop. The moment the for loop ends, that variable is killed. Okay, that would be because we're outside of the brackets. Yeah?
So if you made another for loop, could you make another variable named I?
Yes, you can. Okay, Mac?
Does that include like variables in any other like type?
No. So if I declared it out here, right here, it would be okay. If I declared I up here, so let's say right here, if I went, and I'll undo this because I don't want you guys to do this, but if I go int I here, if I do that, and then I get rid of that declaration, now all of a sudden, look, that becomes a usable variable, right? And it's going to count it like it would, but that's not... Just be aware, right? I just want you guys to be aware that when you declare a variable like that inside of a for loop, it is specific. It's a local variable to that for loop only. Okay? So it's similar to, like next time we're going to talk about methods. It's similar to methods in the sense of variables that you guys use in methods are only usable inside of the methods unless you do something to move them out. Okay? So this is how this is going to work. Okay, are you guys good? Do you have a basic understanding, at least enough to kind of... Your big chungus is freaking me out, Indy. I keep looking over there and like, it's staring at me. Indy did an ASCII big chungus for his Choose Your Own Adventure program, and it is weirding me out, man. Okay. Okay. All right. So you guys are good on just the basic instruction of for loops, right? Okay. Now I feel like I need to go into my obligatory don't forget to smash the like button, but I won't this time. That is true. I will say this. If there's the great overlords of YouTube are overviewing our video right now and are parsing it, please stop flagging my videos as adult content. This is not adult content. I'm sorry. Do you guys know that? For some reason my YouTube videos have been getting flagged, like the programming videos are getting flagged as adult content. Yeah, so the school filter picks them up and filters it out because this is adult content not suitable for high school consumption, apparently. So there we go. Yeah, I know, Paige. So YouTube gods, please don't flag this video as adult content. I know I didn't spell loop properly in loops, but that's okay. I don't know. Okay.